President Donald Trump, please, respectfully, I request that you put between the two of us as translation as much as you can to ensure that I am not disrespectful, that I would not destroy myself against you in communicating with you. For I am going to use a very familiar tone as one New Yorker speaks to another New Yorker. So when Elon Musk said that there were hundreds of millions of Social Security fraud cases, hundreds of millions of fraudulent Social Security cases, it added on to my already very reasonable or my rationality. And I say to people that it's funny when people are smart and they think that they know what $1 billion is. When $1 billion can pay SAG wages for everyone in your entire environment as you walk through an incredibly crowded city. So the amount of money that $1 billion is overwhelms the capacity for analysis on this amount. This is probably why it is comforting to watch like documentaries or short YouTube videos about mega projects like dams in Eastern Europe that cost $2.3 billion, and we're hearing about trillions of dollars going somewhere, or trillions of this or trillions of that. So I'm going to try to shift into a more comfortable tone, because when I found out that there was found out that there were hundreds of millions of fraudulent Social Security subscriptions or payment accounts, I said it's not that it's not fraud, but it's not telling you about something that is unfair in regards to Social Security. It's telling the American citizen who's not defrauding Social Security that they are stupid. And as a person who has communicated a very robust realism in terms of being a winner and accepting reality the way that it is and negotiating in the systems instead of sacrificing yourself against an ideal. Long story short, I thought that I wanted Social Security, but I don't want Social Security. And instead, what is already happening is that the tremendous amount of replacement population who do not have civic duty as I understand it, or dignity as I understand it, are pushing me into a state of royalty or something like that, like a special boy status. And the other day, I got punched in the head like 4 times. A bunch of times this guy tried to beat my skin and my bones are still a little bit sore. And I didn't call the police. I didn't even bother to record the incident, because when I go to police, they laugh. And the people who do the trespassing are so confident that they're never going to be held accountable, and unflinching in their expression. And 300 million supposedly fraudulent Social Security counts being paid out, that is a testament that functional people, intelligent people, literate people, Americans, or foreigners who could be literate, who could be functional Americans, who are smart and not self-flagellating losers, don't have a place in society, or else they would be in that place in society. So the moral compromise of I can't communicate my situation, and this failure to communicate my situation is continually being adjusted by television shows like Pluribus and movies like Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, where intelligence, the effect of intelligence on social reality is given vocabulary, and the behavior patterns of hive minds and the behaviors of singular individuals dealing with overwhelming positivity are examples, are presented, so that I have become more comfortable in the idea of I've been more comfortable in the idea of my socioeconomic exile, or my socioeconomic outsiderness. That I could go get a job, but getting a job doesn't mean anything because I've already been fired so many times, and preceding the getting fired was sexual harassment, and the person who sexually harassed me was not emotionally developed enough or motivated to admit to themselves that their harassment was sexual in theme, nature, expression, or intent. So is it really that he's not even recording, he's just pretending to record somebody? Is it really that the character that is going to apply for Social Security, that can walk and talk and work, is it really that they are lazy, or is it that they are finally willing to compromise and apply for a fraudulent Social Security account just so that they could stop being in continual conflict, criminalization, frustration, and generating what eventually is expressed through sexual violence? Because when someone is compounded in frustration and they find calm in this way or that way, one of the ongoing pressure release expressions is sexual, so that these systems are set up to generate male frustration, to generate sexual expression. And we know that there is definitely a need for somehow generating sexual expression from those who are unwilling to generate sexual expression because of the incredibly low first world birth rates. So it's not like the need for sexual expression doesn't exist or is undocumented. The need is not undocumented. The need is documented, and the resistance to sexual expression is documented. So, you know, the social frustration that leads to all different kinds of crime or violence or legally ambiguous conflict, you know, even when all of it is tapped down and brought under control, there's still the ongoing chink that would squeeze out sexual violence. And maybe the people who are doing these supposedly fraudulent Social Security cases are able to do that because there is a tremendous lack of social security. And in order to secure socializing and society, there needs to be a lot of people with money instead of a lot of people raping each other all the time. So the kind of account or the kind of payment system that I would get would be more like the English nobility, but we already have firemen who are kind of like nobility class people already. So I would like a place to live in a non-punitive neighborhood. That's all I'm saying. And I don't want to have to fight with minority children just to get meals every day. Thanks.